أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi jamiyan, and thank you very much for joining us for this course on living Islam through combating the self. Very quickly, yesterday what we discussed this ayat of Quran, which is ayat number 53 of Surah Yusuf, whereby according to some commentators it is Yusuf who's saying Wama Ubaru Nafsi, and I do not acquit myself. Although some commentator, for example, Mir Ahmadli says this is Zulaikha who's saying, but in any case, no. Then after that there is ayat, Allah says, Inna nafsa lamarat misu illa marahim rabbi. No, indeed the soul is a persistent enjoiner of evil, right? And except if there is what divine mercy. So we say that Yusuf says that even he is not safe from the nafs. Yusuf is a prophet of God, and whose, as we said yesterday, whose veracity and whose genuineness and whose piety was witnessed by so many people. Even then, he says, I'm not safe from this nafs, right? Nafs al-Ammara is persistently misleading us, and we need divine mercy to be protected from it. Our Allah is all forgiving and all merciful. Just very quickly. Yesterday we looked at this passage of dua, from dua for the last night of Shaban and the first night of Ramadan, which according to Mafatul Jinan and also Tafsir Ayashi, Iqbal, Misbah, Balad, these are great books. All of them say that Imam Sadiq al-Islam used to recite this dua on the last night of Ramadan, of Shaban, and the first night of Ramadan, subhanAllah. And today what I did, I also put the example numbers you can see. So Imam has counted here 16 disease of the heart, right? We are praying to Allah that Allah, this 16 disease or anything that you do not approve of, I beseech you, O my Lord, to replace it with faith in your promise, loyalty to your covenant, resignation to your decrees, indifference to the world, and eagerness for that which is with you, and with awareness, peace of mind, and sincere repentance. So you can see that now Imam has discussed about this thing, and this is why I thought that we discuss this topic, that how to just overcome this problem within the nafs, so much negativity which we have. Let us look at another reason that why it is important to discuss about nafs, how to clear nafs in this month of Ramadan. So another reason is that some of us also recited the dua number 44 from Sayyid Fazladiyah, to welcome the month of Ramadan, right? Whereby Imam says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Walhamdulillah alladhi habana bidini, waqtassana bimillati, wasabbalna fi subul ihsani, naslukaha biminni ila ridwani. And all praise be to Allah who favored us with his religion, distinguished us with his creed, and directed us into the paths of his goodness, in order that through his grace we may walk along towards this path. So you can see these are the paths Allah has just directed us, right? And of course a praise which he may accept from us, through which he will be pleased. Then Imam says, subhanallah, in the next passage, right, after that he says, وَجَعَلَ مِن تِلْكَ السُّبُلِ شَهْرُ رَمَضَانِ شَهْرُ الصِّيَامِ وَشَهْرُ الْإِسْلَامِ وَشَهْرُ الطَّهُورِ وَشَهْرُ التَّمْهِيزِ وَشَهْرُ الْقِيَامِ. So subhanAllah, Imam al-Islam has given a number of names for this. Of course, one is the month of Ramadan, another is the month of fasting, we know. It's month of Islam. It's discussed on its own, but sometimes, and then this is whatever you find bold is what we are going to discuss. Shahrut Tahur. It is the month of purity. So what are we trying to purify? It is our internal is something we try to purify. It's not, for example, that only physical. Yes, it's mustahab to perform ghusl every other night on the, for example, odd nights, first night, third night, fifth night is mustahab to do. But that's not Imam is. Imam is talking about purity of the heart, right? Or Shahrut Tamhiz. Shahrut Tamhiz, according to Chitik, he says putting to test. But according to another translation, Ahmad Muhan, he says purification again. So there is purity and purification. So there is that kind of emphasis. And Tamhiz, the word Tamhiz comes from hammasa, means to roast, to fry, to broil. So you can imagine what it means. In other words, we just try to go into our heart and see that how we can clear it and remove all this kind of negativity. Washarul Qiyam, of course, is the month also for saying prayers. So these two reasons I share with you today. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll see the third reason. Now we come to the actual hadith, right? Hadith on the jihad of nafs. So this is the hadith. We will just look at the hadith itself. On Abi Abdullah. Whenever you find in hadith Abu Abdullah, it refers to Imam Sadiq al-Islam. If you find Abu Abdullah, for example, in the context of Karbala, it refers to Imam Hussein al-Islam. Because the kunya of the second Imam, third Imam, sorry, Imam Hussein, and the sixth Imam is Abu Abdullah. But in hadith, once you find Abi Abdullah, then of course it is automatically Imam Sadiq al-Islam. But for example, in the events of Karbala or historical events, you find Abi Abdullah is referring to Imam Hussein. Or for example, also Ziyad, Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah, it refers to Imam Hussein al-Islam. An Abi Abdullah al-Islam, an Nabi ba'atha sariyatan falamma rajaw qala marhaban biqawmi qadaw. Right? The Prophet dispatched his soldiers to battle to fight the enemy. Upon triumphant return, said greetings on those who have successfully carried out the minor combat, right? Qadrul jihad al-asghar wa baka alayhim jihad al-akbar. Now what remains for them is jihad al-akbar. Faqila ya Rasulullah, mal jihad al-akbar? Qala jihad al-nafs. So you can see all those bold words, first of all. Here you can see the translator has used the word upon their triumphant return. Now this triumphant return is not there in the hadith. But is the translator trying to add something from her own? She's not supposed to do that because she says what Prophet has said, especially in the month of Ramadan. If I say that what Prophet has said, if he has not said, it will break my fast, right? So where did she get this triumphant from? Now this is, for example, the art of translating. When you translate, you look at the context, right? Because you can see here, Prophet says the Prophet sent a regiment, right, to go and fight the enemy. Falamma raju, when they came back, Kala marhaban, right? The fact that Prophet said, congratulations to you, this means the fact that Prophet is greeting them that they came triumphantly. Okay, so that's where she gets this idea, the triumphantly. Now, marhaban. Become min qadaw, those who come back. No, those who have just performed Jihad al-Akbar. Now then, of course, Imam says al-Jihad al-Akbar. Now you can see the Arabic word is al-Jihad al-Akbar. Although the translation uses Jihad Asghar, if you see in the book, this yesterday we said, she has just put Jihad al-Akbar. No, now this is those who know Arabic. No, Jihad al-Akbar means Jihad of Akbar. So Jihad al-Asghar means Jihad of Asghar. Jihad al-Asghar, that means the minor combat. You see, so this is the Arabic language. Al-Jihad al-Asghar means the minor combat. But if you just say Jihad al-Asghar without alif lam, that means Jihad for Asghar. وَبَكَى عَلَيْهِمْ جِهَادُ akbar. But Imam Prophet says that no, they just have completed the minor combat. What remains now over them is the major combat. Faqila ya Rasulullah. Immediately, see the beauty of that, right? Just now, unfortunately, we have converted our majalis into a monologue. That was not the case. Rasulullah also would say something, Imam Ali would say something, people would ask questions. Of course, they would do it respectfully and not, for example, make things difficult. But we can see immediately the Prophet said this thing, Faqila ya Rasulullah. Somebody immediately said, O Messenger of Allah, Mal Jihad al-Akbar. What is this al-Jihad al-Akbar you are talking about? Qala Jihad al-Nafs. It is combat with the self, right? You can see here it is not al-Jihad, it's Jihad al-Nafs. That means Jihad against the Nafs. So this is combat with the self. This is the main hadith you can see, which we are using as what our basis of this discussion. And not only that, this is the first hadith in this book, which has so many hadiths. It starts with number, for example, 20,208, and then the last hadith is 21,126. Those are good mathematics. You can see 21,126 less 20,208. You can see almost more than 100 hadiths, right? Not more than 100, but 21,000. That means 1,000 hadiths is just in this book alone, right? Subhanallah, in this section. But this is the first hadith, and this is the basis of a discussion, you can see. So when we physically try to come across, now let us apply this is living Islam, right? When we are fasting, what are we doing? We are trying to overcome the hunger. We are trying to overcome the thirst, right? We are facing the challenge. If the days are longer, if it's hot. So those are physically inconveniences. These people went to fight. Physically, they were on the battlefront, right? So they went to fight. That was the physical inconvenience. Some of them got injured, some of them got killed, some of them came, right? But those are physical. We also, for example, when we are fasting, there are physical things, right? But they more than that, of course, there are also, things which has to do with the self. So although I'm fasting, but I still have negative thoughts. I'm fasting, I still have hatred against somebody. I'm fasting, I'm still thinking about somebody who has wronged me, right? I'm fasting, I still cannot forget and forgive somebody who was, who had what wronged me. That should not be the case. I always say on the night of Shab Qadr, as you sit there, before you even start your amal, right? We start the amal, the night Qadr starts with Maghrib Namaz. The moment after Maghrib Namaz, or before that, just sit on your musalla and say to Allah that, Ya Allah, I forgive so and so, who I think had really hurt me, or harmed me, or wronged me, right? I forgive him or her. Ya Allah, I am a weak person. If I can forgive and this person, Ya Allah, you are generous, you are needless, you are Kareem, right? And you are all forgiving. Forgive me now, this night of Qadr has come. So you can imagine when we start like this. So you can see Imam's Prophet says that no, this physical fighting, the physical inconvenience which we find during Ramadan, these are just all part of Jihad Askar. These are minor combat. The major combat is, as Imam Prophet says, combat with the self. That those internal things which are all the time bothering us, which we are facing, that should be. And the best season, brothers and sisters, nothing than Ramadan. Because as Imam says, Imam Sajjad, it is the month of purity and purification. So this is the best month because already we are struggling physically. Now we also internally we try to do this thing, right? So a similar hadith is there also in the same book that was 20,216 is similar hadith. I'm not going to read the entire hadith, but at the end, for example, when Prophet was asked, وَقَالَ وَمَا الْجِهَادُ أَكْبَرُ when قِيلَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَمَا الْجِهَادُ أَكْبَرُ what is jihad akbar? فَقَالَ جِهَادُ النَّفْسِ again, he said the same thing. It is jihad against nafs. But then this hadith adds something more. This is the beauty of it, right? وَقَالَ صلى الله عليه وسلم إِنَّ أَفْضَلَ الْجِهَادِ مَنْ جَهَدَ نَفْسَهُ الَّتِي بَيْنَ جَنْبَيْهِ. Prophet said the best combat is the combat of one who fights his inner self, right? Something which is in you. So this is the month whereby as we are trying to fast and leading our life and want to make this Ramadan the best of Ramadan through different kind of things, charity, praying, munajat, du'as, all those things are in their place, no doubt in it. There is a lot of reward, right? But let us also make a point that let us try to purify our hearts from so many things which are there. If Imam Sadiq al-Islam can count 16 items in the heart, which are just bothering a human being, with us, we are not even masoom, right? With us, there may be even 1,600, who knows, or 100, for example, things are there. Let us one by one take a piece of paper, start counting that this is something which I have negativity, let me overcome with that. Yes, it is. We started at 6:14, so it is 6:18 in my laptop, in my desktop. So I have that 1 or 2 minutes for you. Let me see if there are any questions in the chat, okay?
Thanks, Sheikh. If anyone has questions, they can put them in the chat or they can just come off mute and feel free.
And this is regarding yesterday's questions. People had asked, first of all, where we can get the book. So somebody sent a link. Review for the book can be found here. People had trouble joining class. Yes, we had actually heard. We didn't realize that although there was time change in North America, in UK, the time had not changed. So just now, there's a difference of 4 hours. in UK. So my apologies to people who are trying to join from UK. It is 10 a.m. up to Saturday. I think they are changing the time on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. It will be 11 a.m. And if you still find problem in joining the class, just email us. Or one of the sisters attending here in the class is Sister Najma Dhanadaku. She's part of the academy. You can privately chat with her and she will help you out, inshallah.
Thanks, Sheikh. And again, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or you should be able to unmute yourself and ask orally as well.
Okay, good. So if there are no questions, tomorrow we'll give you 10 minutes, inshallah, for questions. Again, let's try to, as much as possible, limit our questions to what we've discussed. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah accept our efforts in doing this presentation. Inshallah, we really hope that as we go through all these sessions up to 29th of Ramadan, there is something we can take from there. وَصَلِّ اللَّهُ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِهِ الطَّاهِرِينَ اللَّهُمَّ صَلِّ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِ مُحَمَّدٍ